Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water. Welcome on in, everybody. It is Tuesday night. I of course am Seth Bidoff. That is Christina. We are United Front. Jacob may or may not be along this evening. Well wishes to his wife. Hopefully she gets to feeling better. Allie is sick, unfortunately. So hopefully all is well and Jacob is not murdered by four children in his sleep. So um, Christina, how are you? How was your weekend? Before we get into whatever that was.
I'm doing good. I had a great weekend, but I will, with the caveat that I did not watch the game
Okay.
under the advisement of many people.
Yeah, you were out Saturday night. You were doing some things. Why don't you fill us in? What were you up to on Saturday?
It was last minute. A friend reached out and had an extra ticket to Banana Ball at the lab. And so for those who don't know, that's the like the Savannah Bananas, although that was the actual team here in town, but it's baseball where they play music and dance and do crazy shenanigans. And it was sold out. So kind of crazy, surreal to
Mhm.
be at the lab in a sold out environment. We haven't quite experienced that since Cinco 2019. It was, over 15,000 people, but I had the best time. It was, um, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. And like right out the gate, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, Banana Ball is a lot of fun. I took the kids a couple years ago. I've been trying to get my family to get tickets to anytime the tickets come up and available. And it's somewhere close to any of us. Um, but yeah, Banana Ball is a lot of fun. They're playing the party animals on Saturday.
Yep, the firefighters playing the party animals.
Okay.
Um, and I was thinking the same thing, Justin, like 50, well, and they sold out 2 days in a row, so back to
Mhm.
back. I guess they played again on Sunday and um but it's less about watching the sport and more about all the shenanigans happening in the stadium, in the stands and the music and there were a few things that I thought, "Oh, United should do this." Just
Yeah.
just fun things to get the stands up and moving and involved.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I took my boys and my youngest, who is not much of a sports person at all. He'll play a little bit of basketball. He loved it. We went, they had the banana hats and the fan interaction, and it's a very quick 2 hours. Like it's like watching a football match, and you're in and out 2 hours. You don't have to worry about all that. And it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. It was a day game that we went to as well. So it was quite warm when we went, but I imagine Saturday night was pretty nice with the weather and how everything was.
It poured, before they opened the gates,
Mhm.
but then after that, it was double rainbow and beautiful sunset, and I could have caught the second half of the match. And when I got to my car, I had tuned in to listen to Adam and Andy, and
Mhm.
it just did not sound like it was worth actually watching.
No, no, you really, honestly, and we'll get into it, but yeah, Saturday was rough. I'm glad you got out to see Banana Ball. Did you take the kids too, or was it just you? Or
No, just me
no?
and friends having a grand
Okay.
old time.
Well, there you go. I mean, hey, yeah, Banana Ball is so much fun, and obviously being at the lab is always a great atmosphere. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's wild. Like, even if it's not the bananas, it's the
Yeah.
whole banana ball league. And the fact that they have waiting lists and sell out everywhere that they go is wild. I've got friends and family that have tried to get season tickets to the bananas down in Savannah, and the waiting list is like a million people long to
Mhm.
even get in there. So yeah, it's tremendous what they've done, the fan interaction. It's a fun event. It really is. And so I'm happy. I'm happy that you got to go. Even though it wasn't bananas proper, firefighters and party animals, they're always fun. When we saw them, it was the party animals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They were
and
fun.
so
And I wore my bright pink, Meow Wolf kit,
mhm.
because party animals are bright pink, neon pink, so
Yeah.
fit like I fit right in.
Well, that is awesome. I'm happy that you're able to go. And yeah, Saturday was something. Saturday was certainly something. And I know that we went into this thinking that, we knew it was going to be tough, right? We knew that Rising had been dealing with injuries. We were dealing with injuries. And Saturday was it was tough. It was always going to be tough. And you kind of wonder, what team was going to show up, right? And this was not the team that we had hoped would show up on Saturday. Chris Shakes did get nominated for Save of the Week. So if you get the chance, go obviously vote for Chris. But I want to ask about this, and it's and this was the question I saw posed on social media, and maybe it's better we talk about it after we watch the highlights of this. But I know I texted during this match. I texted very early on.
Yeah,
Yes,
you called it. I
do.
thought, oh, what's happening? And
Yeah, Josh, we do.
Jacob being Jacob was trying to be positive, and
I mean, it was very apparent watching this match on Saturday, very early on, that things were not going well. I don't even know if maybe I said highlights, but and don't hear about injuries because you know what, we've had injuries every year, right? But we have had an inordinate number of injuries this year, and I don't think it's training, right? You look at Kip Keller. Keller was not a training injury. You look at some of these others. I don't think it's a training regimen thing. I think it's just injuries happen, and we knew that Keller has been injury prone throughout his career. We've known that.
Mhm.
But again, both us and Rising were struggling with injuries. I know some people question, why is Nava starting over some of the other people? Nava has played a hell of a lot better than a lot of other people. If you ask me, he's put in a ton of effort, a ton more effort than some people. But no, I texted, I think it was the 12th minute. I said, F this. I said, F this. Like it was, here's the first of 2 penalties. And
Oh, was that a pretty soft penalty?
that was incredibly soft.
That did not look.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, it was an incredibly soft penalty. But yeah, you see him come in, cutting across the corner. I'm not 100% sold that he even made contact here. It was incredibly soft. If there was contact, it was in the area. Like it's awful.
Yeah,
And
Jabang in defense.
yeah. So I mean,
I
yeah,
don't think Jabang wants to be in defense either.
No, it's pretty clear that he doesn't want to, but when you
I find myself wondering. I agree with you. Injuries are just part of the game. At this point, I know we've been talking and we keep saying injuries, but you got to wonder if the off season, the players that they signed, the positions that they signed, it just, we've been talking for a while of being really worried about lack of depth in the back line.
Mm-hmm.
And taking players from our midfield and putting them in the back line.
Yeah, obviously not Usa's preferred position. And here's the second penalty here. Now, Christian, obviously, like you see Christian take the bump right before this. Oh, that's not going to do it. Really? Now it's going to do it. You good, Harry? Yeah. All right. Welcome on in, Harry, friend of the show, official 4th member. There he is.
Call of the bullpen.
Call of the bullpen. That is absolutely correct. Glad to have you with us tonight, Harry. Yeah, second penalty here. mean, obviously, just Nava. Yes, this is a foul.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah,
Nava.
I
Was
mean,
that him being salty?
yeah. But Shakes with big time save here. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like you go back to the run up to this play. I mean, obviously, Christian takes a shove here, in the run up to it. And
here's my question for you though. Should the foul have been called outside of the box? Because technically the foul started outside of the box.
Yes.
Then he proceeded in, and then that's my only reason on maybe why the ball didn't lie, is because technically the foul started, there was the break, and then Navas decided, hey, I'm going to go 100% in the box and finished it up.
Yeah. No, if the foul starts outside the box, the foul should be called outside the box. That's absolutely how it's written. It doesn't matter where the play ends up.
But that's my own, not that I'm a New Mexico fan by any means, but that's my only thing on that play is there was contact. You could have called the foul just outside of the box. He did let it continue, and then Nava decided, hey, let's just finish the deal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's again, you see Christian take the shove here. I mean, you probably and yes, Christian is significantly smaller than Darius Johnson, but no, you can't fault the effort from Christian. Christian put in a hell of a shift throughout the entire match, but clear contact in the box here. Shakes with the save. The time wasting, the sportsmanship is what it is, right? But United did not look good in this game. And Harry, I don't know if you had a chance to watch any of it.
I watched it. Yes.
You watched it. Okay. I mean, am I wrong in thinking here that United just did not look good at all in this match?
United hasn't looked good all year, if you want to really be honest. When you compare last year to this year, they're two totally different teams.
We keep waiting for them to look decent.
And I've seen that on social media from the New Mexico fans is it's a new year, yes, but there was a good core of the team that was brought back, right?
Yep.
I don't know the exact numbers, but something is just off. And like I said, you guys are a lot closer to the situation than I am, obviously. But like I said here.
So who is captain to start this match?
That's a good question. I'd have to look that up.
I feel like that's we're missing a leader on the pitch. We lost Maples, we lost Kalen. Hurst hasn't been starting, right? Will, I didn't think started. Kip is injured. Like who's the leader on the pitch?
I mean, it's got to be, and in a match like this where you have so many people out, Jabang was captain in this match. You've got Seymour on the bench. Will's the captain. So like, why is he not starting? Number one, number two, like, it wasn't a good performance at all. So many missed opportunities. You see, there's one of the assistants, I believe it was the goalkeeper coach that got sent off for United. But yeah, I mean, I think in this type of situation where you're not starting Seymour, it's got to be Zico, right? I think it has to be Zico because Shakes is not the captain.
I mean, I like Jabang, I like Zico, but I just don't know that they're leader personalities.
Maybe that's what the issue is that it's not how leading. Many. That I think that's what the issue is. Because you guys have lost in the last 2 years. You guys have lost the majority of your
all our captains
and leadership and individuals veterans that made New Mexico United from the start.
Yeah, just such a terrible giveaway in the defensive third here. Like it's just you can't do it. And I don't. You know what? Shake's getting to the fence. I don't care. I don't care. Let him be riled up. Let him be, because the Banditos are assholes. Let's face it, they are. Like,
I won't comment on that. Like I said here, I know a few of them. They're pretty good guys, but yeah,
they can. I mean, they can't be. But then again, all fan bases can't be, right? So it's not just a.
They are tough on away goalkeepers, though. I will. Yeah. To all fairness, Phoenix is probably a top 5 in USL, even with the reduced attendance, in regards to harassing the away goalkeeper. For that here, I know Diego Restrepo went off on social media after a Phoenix game where we lost very similar 4-0, and he just played poor, and he never put on an SAFC uniform after that. So it's Phoenix is a tough place to play, even with the half crowd that they have nowadays.
Yeah, no, it is. And I made a comment over on the radio station X. I was like, yeah, match is kicking off from Phoenix Rising Stadium somewhere near Phoenix. And because I mean, realistically, where is the stadium now? Like,
no, the stadium's nice.
Is it?
I've been to the stadium. Yeah, it's right off a light rail. It's not downtownish, but the original stadium, it's back over where the original stadium was. It isn't where the second stadium, which was down by the casino, where that really kind of impacted the players. But this one's actually in a nice spot, back over near the airport. It's right off the light rail. So, like I said here, as far as getting there, there's hotels within you can walk to the game from from a decent size, from the hotel, nice chain, 10, 15 minutes. So it's, the stadium isn't the issue. Phoenix has more ownership.
Turf?
It's grass.
It's turf. Is that grass?
Yeah, it's grass.
I believe whatever it was. Whatever it was.
United slipping. Yeah.
No, both teams are slipping, but you could see it affecting our guys more than theirs. But no, it was.
I thought it was grass, but I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I don't know. It was slick. Whatever it was slick, and
it has to be grass though, just with the heat.
Yeah,
for Phoenix, because could you imagine turf in 100+ degrees?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Professional athletes.
No, without a doubt. But I mean, they didn't water it though. They don't water it at half like we do with the grass. So I don't know. It
still looks better than Sacramento, Orange County, or Oakland. So
that it does. Yeah. But yeah, why wasn't Noel only the captain's band? He's not a captain. He's just not. Noel's wouldn't be my pick for captain. He's not a vocal guy, and you need to have someone, in my opinion, at the back, leading things.
But that is a good question though for Jacob. Is who should be the captain of this team here? And like I said, the reason why I say Jacob is he seems like he seems connected to the team pretty well. Along those lines, but
I think when we hypothesized on it before the season even started, we were guessing Will, but also recognizing that he's getting older and the likelihood of him always being on the pitch was unlikely. Jabang does not make sense to me. I mean, he's great, but I don't know.
I feel like he's far less likely
we have right now.
I think Oos is far less likely to stay on the pitch than a number of other guys. So that's why I don't see Oos as a captain.
What about Gloucester? Gloucester's been with you guys for a while.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, he seems a little
bit
more
Bailey's too timid.
Right.
Bailey's too timid to need to be a captain.
Yeah. You need someone who's gonna, get in the other players' faces and talk them up and get them in the right mindset. And I mean, I think Andy and Adam were talking about the players arguing on Saturday. I mean, that's just not a good look.
No, and we got some comments over on our X account from Matt from Raising Anchor, who was at the match. Apparently there was a come to Jesus moment for the club afterwards out in Phoenix. I know Jacob was talking to Matt about it, so I didn't look at it, but apparently there was something happened with our players after the match. So yeah, I mean, it's whatever the case is, I saw a comment over on the Discord. I'm sure you might have seen it too. We might need to apologize to the kit sponsors because we're not getting any draws, because of the tie-in to Meow Wolf. But yeah, no, it's just it's not good right now, and I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, we've got 2 wins, but it's just, they're not great.
But the good news is, because it looks like your next game is against El Paso on May 6th. So, right, according to FOTMob.
No, we've got the.
Oh, that's probably because of that's probably league play. Okay. Yeah. So, but you guys are off this weekend, right?
Yeah, we're off this weekend. We've got AV Alta on the 25th, and then following that, we get back to league play the week after. So you guys have got some time to get figure out what it is, get help, because the biggest issue with New Mexico is you're not healthy right now. Mm-hmm. No, it is, and that's something we've talked to different people about the club, and well, I think on paper this is probably our most talented club ever. We've got injuries right now, and we've got far more than what are being reported on the match day reports, the injury reports that they put out, an hour and a half before the games. We've got more injuries than what's on there, and I think some people don't realize that. Blaquette, right? He was hurt as well. He picked up some sort of a knock. Keller, obviously, it's a hamstring, a groin, something. We've already talked about how we're not expecting Keller to be back for a number of weeks. I think AV Alta is a stretch. I think the week after is a stretch for him. But I mean, again.
So that's 3 games, though. If you really think of it, if you're saying that he's not back, you're looking, because the next 3 games are AV Alta on the 25th, a Wednesday against El Paso, and then the Lights on that Saturday. So you're talking about 3 home games before, which is a month away. So you're talking about a month away then before you expect him back.
Yeah.
Because you guys have it's odd you guys have so many breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very odd. And I can't help but wonder if maybe that's played into it a little bit as well. Like,
well, they're just not cohesive. They're not playing as a collective. They're just
right.
Every man for themselves. I don't know.
Hey, maybe. Well, let me ask you guys this, and Harry, we'll talk about San Antonio here in a minute as well.
We don't have to.
You don't have to.
The same story.
There was a post over on USL Pro, I think, from today about you guys. Apparently, there's a problem with the city and the county.
Well, no. The Spurs, or Spurs Sports and Entertainment. Let me get it correct here.
Yeah.
Had a deal with the city and county when they purchased Toyota Field, or agreed to lease it, that they were going to bring an MLS team to San Antonio by X date. If they didn't, there was a $5 million penalty.
Okay.
Of course, as we know, there was the Austin clause. Austin FC's around, so San Antonio did not get MLS. So the new mayor, not that people are aware of this outside of San Antonio, seems to be anti-Spurs, because the Spurs are trying to push for a new downtown stadium right next to the Alamo Dome. So basically, it'd be a little sports complex. She fought the Spurs hard because the city council was all on it. Basically, she got pushed aside. Everybody's like, "No, we're not listening to you," and the Spurs got it over the road.
Yeah.
Technically, she is correct. The Spurs do owe the $5 million, and they should pay it. It's $5 million for an organization like the Spurs. It's like me going to the couch and finding a dollar of change in the couch. It's they've got the money, but to me, it's just the whole picking the scab that the mayor's doing with the Spurs Sports and Entertainment. Because I guess the Spurs have only paid $250,000 out of the $5 million for that here. So it's politics. I don't understand why the Spurs don't just pay it, because they're not going to MLS. Heck, I wonder, half the fan base wonders if they want to stick around in USL long term. And I think that's probably half of our or most of our teams, just because, what do you really get out of it in the long term of it? Yeah. So, and I think that's why you're seeing a little bit of stagnation within USL at this point with attendance. Because if you really look at the attendance, at most clubs is probably 3,000 to 5,000, even for USL Championship. You got New Mexico that's a little bit different. With Phoenix, I think was I don't even know if they had 5,000 at this game.
Yeah, those stands looked empty.
I know San Antonio and I know the stadium's probably 2/3 filled for it here, but we were averaging close to 7. I bet you it's close to 6, maybe 5,500.
Yeah, so sorry, I was looking at attendance for match on Saturday. 6,200 was the reported number, 6,230, which I don't feel like that was right. But yeah, no,
like sold, not butts and seats.
Yeah, but for San Antonio, to me, it's kind of a deja vu. Like last year, started off well. I think we're 3+ matches, maybe 4+ matches where we haven't scored a goal yet. Forwards aren't really involved. Defense is good. The goalkeeper is good, but like I said here.
I mean, hey, it's defenses that win championships, right?
Got to be able to score.
Yep, that you
do.
do.
You guys, Harry.
We have scored the same amount of goals as that you have in two more games. The difference is you guys have allowed 8 goals. We've only allowed 3. That's the difference. But we have scored 5 goals in 7 league games. It's not good.
Yeah. No, it's not. And I will say, fortunately, neither of our teams are winless at this point. So,
crazy thing is, we're both in the playoffs right now, too.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Even looking at the Eastern Conference, I was looking at the standings. And there's some wonky standings.
Yeah,
it's early though. It's teams are still filling it. I will say that the two teams that look good, and we both played one of them. Orange County looks pretty solid. And I know we hate to give El Paso credit, but so far they look pretty impressive, and they get to play Houston tomorrow in Open Cup. So.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, like you said, it's early. You guys have played 7. We played 5. We're obviously a couple weeks behind everybody.
And you got a break again.
Yeah, got another break, right? And yeah, to the folks, injuries should never be the only excuse, right? Clearly, something is off. Something's not working with this club right now. But when you look at where things are, and yes, El Paso is undefeated currently. There was a post over on USL Pro, and Christina, I don't know, you may not have seen this. Harry, you might have seen it. Asking the question, and I'm going to pose this to you guys in chat as well as Christina and Harry here as well. Is Sanchez the worst coach in United history? That was the premise of this post by this individual. And my initial reaction was no. We went to the Western Conference Final last year. We had our best showing, right? Like every club goes through ups and downs. This is not on Dennis. The loss this weekend was not on Dennis. This is on the players' inability to execute simple fundamentals. 2 of those goals were direct results of giveaways in the defensive third. That's not on Dennis, right? That's not on him. We almost didn't play that. No, we didn't. We finished the regular season in 3rd place last year.
Yeah, so we had a home match.
So the coaches is Troy Lassing, Zach Prince, who had 26 games, Eric Quill, and then Dennis Sanchez.
Yeah.
I mean, my number one that I that I think was the worst would be Zach.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I would agree with that. Zach was, we've talked about, Zach was Troy 2.0 or 1.5, not even 2.0. Zach was Troy 1.5, right? There was no discernible difference in tactics from Troy to Zach at all.
And we missed the playoffs under Zach.
Did. We did miss the playoffs under Zach. We squeaked into the playoffs under Quill, right? But we got that, we did manage to make the playoffs under Quill. Then Quill leaves, right? We knew that was coming. We'd known that was coming. And but yeah. And then, you get Sanchez coming in. We go to the Western Conference Final last year, right? Sure. You go out earlier in the Open Cup than you would like. You go out earlier in the Jägermeister Cup than you would like, right? I would rather have league silverware than the Jägermeister Cup, right? Jägermeister Cup doesn't mean shit. In all honesty, like if you're gonna take a trophy, you want either the USL Cup or you want Open Cup. So, does Zach ever have a keeper take a free kick in opposition's half? I'd have to go back and look, but it's not unheard of. It's not unheard of to have a keeper come forward and take a free kick. It's not unheard of to have a keeper come forward and play in the box. Like, it's not unheard of.
No, especially at the end.
Yeah, especially at the end of a match where you're pushing for an equalizer or a winner, right? It's not unheard of. Now, and to be fair, this is not something that happens regularly.
To answer the question, Troy is probably first, right? Even though okay.
Yeah.
Troy gets it because of the Open Cup run, right? The deep Open Cup run. I think that's why, because that was even as a San Antonio fan, that was an incredible run.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could put Troy there. You could put Troy at number one. I mean, obviously,
either
him or Quill.
So
I think they both have positives.
Zach Prince or Dennis Sanchez.
Quill ball was more exciting to watch. I feel like
I will say this:
had a tendency to park the bus more.
This time last year, this show, and Jacob was if memory serves me correct, and Jacob and Cheryl correct me if I'm not, was not very high on how New Mexico United came out of the box, and was not very high. Mm-hmm. We were having a lot of these same discussions of why doesn't this team seem like it's gelling? Mm-hmm. So I think for New Mexico fans, and I know it's hard just as a fan here, don't get me wrong, let the team gel a little bit, see if it comes together. Now, if you're seeing fighting on the field, that's a whole different discussion. But
yeah,
well,
I think it's too early to say for Dennis. If
last year it was concerning to me with Sanchez losing the locker room. Just knowing that there was something going on, I think that was really disruptive. And I think it was on the backs of our captains and Brucey really to get the squad cohesive again.
But if you don't have
last season,
if you don't have those leadership, and it'll circle back to the captain's conversation, and to circle back to, is Dennis the worst manager? If we're 2 years in, there's locker room issues, and I'm not saying there is. I'm just, because I'm not part of what you guys are local to the scene. But if the show is saying, hey, there was some locker room issues last year, leadership, the captains kind of straightened it out. Not the coach, but the captain straightened it out. Lost the captains this year. Dennis is still running the same ship as he did last year. He got results at the end, but you do wonder if maybe the player buy-in isn't as it should be.
Mm-hmm. So real quick, early in the second half, the keeper, I'm not worried about it. Whatever. It's one free kick, right? It is what it is. Maybe there was some reason for it. Maybe just a matter of, getting more bodies in the box and having it didn't affect anything, right? It is what it is. Sanchez kept Maple off the pitch for who knows what reason. There were things. So we now know that Akale got a contract offer from Lou City mid-season last year. We know that. That was in the midst of his slump, and then he came back and had a pretty good, solid end of the year. We know that Maples requested a transfer. Maples wanted out. Right? I can tell you that for a certainty. Maples asked to leave. Something happened. Now, whether it started with the benching of Alex, which, to be fair, there were a number of things that happened in that run right there. We had Kalen Ryden go out with injury. Defensively, we were stopped performing as well. And Alex gave up a number of goals, right? So why not give Chris Shakes a run? I'm not disappointed with Chris Shakes, right? And let's face it, Alex has not exactly had a great season so far for Tulsa. Like, Tulsa's below us in the table.
I do question Sanchez, though, shipping off Tony and Gaines.
It wasn't. Those were interesting decisions given the timing of it.
Yeah.
And then the players that were brought in after. But then you bring in Kettler, right? It does take some time. I like Tony. I thought Tony and Maples were good together. But obviously there was something there to where, Tony's not getting the time. So whatever the decision was there, right? And then Ryden gets hurt. So they're for whatever, coach made his decisions. That's what it is, right? I don't think Oos is meant for the back line. I don't think so. But you have to realize we had a different back line, I think it was like 13 or 14 different times last season. A lot of that due to injury. So, he was putting out there what he felt was the best lineup. It's not always going to work, but it is what it is. But even then, we made the Western Conference final.
I think a lot of that is thanks to Bruce's leadership. Just saying.
Without it. I mean, Brucey's phenomenal. Like, there's no doubt about it, right? Brucey's really great. So, it is what it is.
Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have got 3 games at home. And 10 days or so? One, the USL Cup against the League One team. You get El Paso on is it a Wednesday afternoon game? 1:00, if I'm reading that correctly?
It's a weird time, yeah.
It's one of those weird things that USL is doing where they do like a field trip.
Is it for the kids?
I think so.
No, it's still school.
And then the lights for there. Does he need all 3 wins?
Are you saying that Sanchez is on the hot seat?
Yes.
No, I'm not. I'm saying if he doesn't get the 3 wins, because you figure AV Alta, a League One team playing in New Mexico, should be able to get that just because it's you're the championship. You're a tier higher, so you should expect at home to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
El Paso, that's the tricky one. It's a rivalry game. That's the one where I could see lose. But if you get embarrassed, then that's a whole different discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And the lights, the lights are lights. I'll respect to them. I think they've done a lot of good with the field that they have. Hasn't quite resulted in results yet, but you'd figure New Mexico has, because looking at so you got the 3 here, then away at Colorado, who won today against Sporting Kansas City in Open Cup, by the way, and then 2 at home against Tampa Bay and Charleston. So after these 3, giving respect to Colorado Springs, the level of competition goes up playing Tampa and Charleston for that year. So to me, that's where you've got 5 of 6 out of the next month, really, because the 23rd, so a little bit over a month at home.
Yeah, so you look at that, and Bright, yes, the El Paso match it's a 7:00 kick.
So FOTMob has it wrong.
Yes, FOTMob has it wrong. Yep. But to be fair, there are some of those weird times. Wasn't it Tampa and someone a couple weeks ago had like a 1:00 kick on a Wednesday? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the league is doing
I could have sworn we're going to have one of those too.
Probably.
I feel like United announced a time change for somebody.
Something just got changed for San Antonio, right?
I don't remember. Throw that here.
Yeah, something just got announced. I think it was today something got announced. But yeah, you look at these next 6 matches. Like you said, AV Alta, El Paso, Las Vegas, Switchbacks on the road, Rowdies, Battery at home. That's a tough stretch. It really is. I would expect to see that's it. It was switched to August 29th instead of the 30th. AV Alta and Las Vegas, I would expect wins out of those. El Paso,
that's the tricky one.
That's the tricky one, right? You gotta at least get a draw at home, and even then, a draw is gonna feel like shit because we should be playing better at home.
Well, didn't they? And like I said, Open Cup, didn't they do very well? And I know it's not the same as Open Cup for the compared to the regular season, but if memory right, they had a pretty decent result, right?
But we've been embarrassed by them a few times already this season.
Yeah, it was 4-0 in Open Cup over at UNM. There's announced attendance of like 842 for that one. So the 655 times on the website are weird. Yeah.
Sorry, just that I was going off FOTMob and I was thrown off by the 1:00. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, it's definitely strange.
You guys are doing the Loudon special where, hey, bring the kids.
Yeah, exactly. Colorado, I think we could pick up some points there, but then you get to Battery and Tampa.
Although Battery is not as good as they were last year. They lost a lot of talent. But Tampa is much better.
Yeah, Tampa is significantly better. I think we all had Tampa doing better this year than what they ended up last year. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where we've lost to Battery before. We all have Tampa in the 4 to 6 range, and then we all had Battery at 1, which right now is not looking great for anybody. But those two coming in is always going to be tough. So I think be prepared for a very tough stretch for this club. These next 6 matches are going to be incredibly difficult. And then honestly, it doesn't get any easier with Hartford Rising in Orange County right after that. So
Hartford's horrible.
Oh yeah, they're not great, but it's.
I watched them play El Paso this weekend, and it was not a game now. But
no. Yeah, they've got 2 wins on the season. Their most recent one coming back on March 21st at this point against Brooklyn FC, which, I mean, it's Brooklyn who, but yeah, it's going to be a tough stretch for the next 2 months. It's going to be tough. Like I would not, with the way that we're playing right now, I would not expect very many wins coming out of this one.
So here's the question for you for the Phoenix game. Do you just throw it away? As fans, I know Phoenix and New Mexico is a rivalry, but do you just throw it away as just hey, it was an off night, we didn't get off the bus or train? I think there's a train that goes from Albuquerque to maybe now, but is it just one of those where you just shake it off that, hey, we just didn't get off the bus and chop it up?
I feel like it's a little bit of a flashing light. Like, I don't know, whatever is happening in the locker room or coaching or lack of leadership, but I feel like it's a little bit of a warning light going off.
Yeah, I don't think he can necessarily chalk it up. I mean, the announcer said, like, oh, yeah, United finally looks like they're ready to play at like 20 minutes into the match. Like, it just, we did not look like we wanted to be there at all. And again, you can't coach players to be up, right? You prepare them throughout the week. You hope that they're up, but we just did not execute anything. You just can't. When you don't execute, you can't expect results. And that's what happened on Saturday. I don't think you throw it away. I think you look at it, and even the broadcast was saying, oh, you know, sometimes it's a turning point, right? A loss like this. Well, why wasn't the El Paso loss a turning point? Right? Why didn't that kick them into gear? Will this kick them into gear? I don't know. I really don't. I had hoped that the 2 wins in a row that we got in league play would kick them into gear, but that didn't seem to do it.
I imagine it's got to be hard though for them also. They've only had 1 game so far in the lab. I mean, they've had like home games at the UNM stadium, but like it's not the crowd, you know, like they don't have like that 12th man really giving them a why and getting the buy-in from the newer players. It's got to be a hardship starting the season off with so many injuries and then being on the road as much as they've been on the road.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. Yeah, it's tough. And, you know, that's one of the why we had, when we talked to the guys after the Colorado match, you know, like, what does it mean to be playing here at the lab? And, you know, like I said, it's hard. And I wish the schedule was a little bit better, but you can't do anything about MILB until we got our own stadium. We're going to have to deal with this every single year to start. We're going to have to. No, Josh, I did not see that video, nor do I really care to go look at that. But yeah, just a bad performance by United. Didn't look good. Pillar to post, rising. It's yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we've got to execute better. We've got to figure it out. Otherwise, this is going to be a very long season. And I don't think it's coaching. I don't think that's it at all.
How do you say that one? But yet earlier in the conversation, you kind of questioned a little bit about Dennis's locker room tactics. You know, the mood in the locker room.
Well, so I'm not.
That if it's a leadership issue, and it's 5 games, so there will be, you know, hopefully this time a month from now, you know, there's some some leadership has been identified on the pitch, and we can see it. But if there's, because United's been in camp 2 months at least between preseason and with the start of the season, mid-February.
Yeah.
If there's a lack of leadership on the team and the manager isn't filling that spot, or is maybe, you know, creating, and I gotta be careful because I don't want to seem like that Sanchez is creating friction in the locker room, because I have no clue if he is or isn't. But if there's something missed between the coaching staff and players, you guys are 2 months into together as a team. A lot of it's been on the road, which is where you get that team building mentality. That has to be a little bit of a slight concern where, you know, if the coach isn't able to get them fired up for whatever reason, that is on the coach or coaching staff. I guess I should clarify, not just on Sanchez, but on the overall staff.
I get that. And like I said, I think obviously there were locker room issues last year, and we've heard comments that there were individuals that did not want to be here last year. And so the club said, okay, you don't want to be here. We're going to facilitate those moves. And you have to remember too, last year, Dennis came in very late in the preseason and didn't really get a chance to build the club that he wanted. These are Dennis's guys. These are guys that he wants here. Now, I know you saw it in our chat and said, oh yeah, he brought in a Rosarena. He can go just for that. But Rosarena was awful in his 2 appearances this year. I'm done with the Rosarena. Forget it. But I mean, that's a whole thing. I don't think he's lost the locker room. I think whatever happened on Saturday, it was they just came out and did not execute whatever they prepared during the week. And I do think there's a lack of leadership on the pitch. Like without Will out there, without, with some of the injuries, I felt like Keller could have been captain, but with his injury concerns, like I get him not being it. But you need a vocal leader on the pitch because Dennis can only do so much.
But Keller's young too, though. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, Keller is 28, I think.
Kip Keller?
Yeah.
No.
It's 25. I overestimate. He's 25. But I could see Keller. He's vocal, right? He's very vocal about how things are. And again, like while I like Oos, I think Oos is too much of a hothead to do that because Oos is more likely to be sent off than anyone else on this team. So,
well, and I just feel like Oos has proved time and time again that he's not a defensive player like that. Like it really irks me that Sanchez keeps forcing that and putting him in that position.
Mm-hmm.
He performs so much better in the midfield.
No, he does, and I think even Sanchez would tell you that he does, right?
Which calls into question, I think, Sanchez's coaching to a bit. I question some of the decisions Sanchez has been making.
Well, I mean, I get that. You have to look at too, like the roster situation right now. Jafal's hurt. Malik had been hurt. I think Malik's not healthy either, especially after that fall that he took the other day. I don't think Malik is healthy.
It sounds like he had a really rough game on Saturday.
Yeah, Malik didn't have a good game on Saturday either. But a couple of individual things. I mean, obviously, you saw the giveaway for the second goal. You saw the giveaway by Gloucester on the third goal. And even before that, it's Rising's press was good. We couldn't string passes together. We couldn't execute. It is what it is. I mean, a bit of a more healthy situation. I think you don't. I don't. If we're healthier, I don't think you see Jabang at the back.
That would definitely be ideal.
I don't think you see LaCava as a right back either. If we're healthier,
but right.
LaCava's not. LaCava's a forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's with the injuries we've been having LaCava play as that Brucey, fullback that we used to see back in year 1 and 2 under Troy. So LaCava's been doing it. And don't get me wrong, LaCava's been good. But that's not, I don't want him as a right back. That's not where he's best. That's not where he best serves this team. So
I mean, they're professionals. They're gonna do what they're told to do, and they're gonna try their best. I don't know.
Harry, talking about San Antonio. San Antonio gets off to a hot start this year, 4 undefeated, and now you've had a bit of a drop in form here over the last 3 matches. What's happened in these 3 here as you come into now 7 matches played, draws against Monterey Bay, Miami, and then a loss to Orange County. I mean, now to be fair, I do think Orange County is a little bit better than what we thought they were going to be. But I still think Orange County is going to Orange County. I mean, we beat Orange County.
You got the result. There was some. We'll just leave it at that. But we got outclassed by Orange County. To me, for San Antonio, they've been playing. For 2 weeks? They'd played 2 games a week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they set up the teams wrong because against Monterey Bay, they went with a heavily rotated lineup. Against Orange County, they went with their starters. and then against Miami at home, kind of a little bit more rotated lineup here. And we always Miami's our team that we can never beat. Just it's if you like just we were joking around in our chat going, oh, this is Miami. Everybody else beats them but us. But no, it all goes back to not scoring. It's like Monterey Bay, we didn't have a shot on goal. We had 60% of the possession and no shots on goal. Orange County, we had a couple of shots, but we got down early, and Orange County defense, buckled in, as you guys are aware of. They're a solid team. They got a 2-0 win. And against Miami, we had opportunities, just they couldn't hit the ocean, if it was 10 feet in front of them. They're just in one of those stretches right now where, because Patino's yet to score, and you get he's right there, and you get the feeling that once he does break through, that he's going to go on a scoring binge. But and it happens in the season, just where just team can't score. They're still defending well. I like our goalkeeper, but until the offense figures it out through there, and then I do think for San Antonio, and it's been my concern all along, and Orange County exposed us. Miami tried to do it, but they couldn't finish. Going down the right side where we have the three backs with Akeem Ward and then Alex Cernali. They just get, and I think New Mexico tore us up going down the right as well. As they just don't have the speed and they get punished. But no, for San Antonio, and I know both of our clubs, we have high expectations, and losing to getting a draw in Monterey Bay, losing to Orange County, and then coming back home and getting a draw with Miami FC. It's one of those kind of unacceptable results, even though when you look at the results, they're like, hey, it's not that bad, but it's for our expectations, it's poor. It's to me, if I was the gaffer, you put the full lineup in against Monterey Bay, get the 3 points there, rotate against the Wednesday game against Orange County, because Orange County is tougher, especially midweek. It's a tough place to play, and you come back in with the teams in a better position for Saturday against Miami at home. But I don't get paid the big bucks. I get paid no bucks to talk to you on podcasts.
Right. I mean, yeah, we're not the ones that, sure, we can go play, eFootball and do what we want to do and bring in Leo Messi. Right. And then, we could do what we want to do with that. But no, like you look at San Antonio, like you said, San Antonio fans and United fans both have high expectations year in and year out. Both clubs have, for the most part in their history, performed well. And I think I don't think it's unfair for fans to have those expectations. Looking at where San Antonio is now, you guys are basically a quarter of the way through your season already. What's stood out to you as being the key signing for you so far?
Mikey Maldonado has been really key. Getting Pirano has been nice. I think the key to San Antonio, and I think it's going to pay off in the future, is not this year's signing, but last year's signing of Joey Petruni, who came. He's the goalkeeper. Graduated from Virginia. He's really kind of stepped up. I think he could be an up-and-coming goalkeeper that could see his way up to MLS. For that here, he's got that kind of talent. So I think, because I've always thought our goalkeeping position was kind of a weakness with Sanchez. With Joey Petruni, he's had some good saves. Now he's still young, so you still have kind of his weakness is probably distribution a little bit, sometimes making some mistakes on that. But to me, just the defense with them, And then to me, I would have Tiago, or not Tiago. I would have Alex Corneli on the bench and have Tiago. I forget what's his last name. Tiago. He's a good-looking kid. Tiago. Bench. No, of course, he's not on the bench in the game that I'm looking at. Tiago Suarez.
Okay.
For that here, if you had him, it would. I think it would go through. But to me, like I said here, for San Antonio, they've got to figure out how to score. Defensively, they're always going to be in it, for the most part. But if they can't get the offense figured out, because there's just too much. You almost wonder if there's too much talent with Jorge Pirano, Mikey Maldonado, Patino, Dimitri Erofeev, Akeem Ward, all quality talent, but yet we're not scoring, we're not getting quality shots on goal. It's just it's a 30-game season, so it's one where I guess it's better to get that out of the way now, and hopefully the rest of the season they can click. But
yeah, no, man, that's really all you can hope for. And looking at San Antonio's upcoming schedule, I mean, obviously, there's never an easy match here, but you look at your next 5, you got El Paso, Legion, Switchbacks, Rising, and then 1 Knox, which I believe is USL Cup. Looking at
so is Legion.
Legion is as well. Okay, you guys have 2 quick.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have 2 quick ones in a row there. Excluding, I mean, obviously you can look at Legion because that is a championship level caliber. Although to be fair, Legion is having a down season, which we thought was going to happen again. Yeah. Looking at these, where do you see the potential for something to trip up San Antonio's, opening half of the season here, or where do you think that they stand to pick up some ground in the West?
So it'll be interesting with El Paso because they play Houston tomorrow in Open Cup, and then we play them in a Copa Tejas match on Saturday, which is very rare for us to get Saturday matches in El Paso. I know a lot of SAFC fans are planning on traveling over there for that here. Unfortunately, I can't. AJ's got 2 club games this weekend, so that went out the window. But to me, like I said here, if they could get points or draw in El Paso, I think that's huge. Phoenix is, as you guys saw, is always tough away. So out of the next 5, like I said here, obviously, I guess it depends how much weight do you put in the USL Cup for that here. But I would expect wins against 1 Knox and Birmingham Legion. Colorado Springs, San Antonio is historically owned, for that, and especially in Toyota Field. So I think out of the next 5, to me, the 2 away matches are probably the huge roadblocks, for that here. Just, historically, San Antonio at Phoenix is, we tend to get railroaded like you guys did quite often when we go to Phoenix for whatever reason. And then El Paso and San Antonio, kind of like New Mexico and El Paso. Make sure you got your big shin guards because there will be fouls, there'll be chippiness, and there'll probably be a little bit of pushing and hugs and all that kind of funs.
Yeah, that tends to happen with El Paso and with Phoenix Rising. There are obviously some interesting calls or no calls each and every week within the USL Championship. But yeah, I'm looking forward, with us not playing this weekend, I'm certainly looking forward to watching the El Paso San Antonio match. So I'll have that up. I'll probably also have WrestleMania up on at least one screen.
Yes, WrestleMania weekend.
WrestleMania weekend, right? AJ Styles going to the Hall of Fame. Please tell me you didn't name your kid after AJ.
No.
Okay. No, and I do jest. But no, WrestleMania weekend over in Las Vegas. You have to think.
What's your match? What's your match to watch?
Oh man, I don't know. I think the ladder match for the IC title.
I kind of like Liv and what's her name? I'm trying to blank. I know Stephanie Vaquero. I think that's gonna just be, to me, that should be the one that closes down the first night for that here, and Lesnar and Oba, I think, will be switching of the torch because Oba's got the crowd, and you can tell Lesnar's kind of, he has his in-ring thing there, but from all reports that I've heard is he's really trying to push this kid over. So I'm really looking forward to it, and that's supposed to be on ESPN, right? I think
I believe that was going to be on ESPN proper on Sunday.
So on Sunday, so which is kind of, as a wrestling fan, that is kind of cool to see it on ESPN. You could argue about the TKO stuff and along those lines here, and then I know Justin put the Danhausen blimps, which are awesome. Dude, if you could get a team with Danhausen and R-Truth, dude, that would be awesome.
So let me ask you here real quick, as a wrestling fan, obviously there's a lot of kayfabe and scripting and everything that goes into this. I truly, watching the Danhausen R-Truth, the title wins, right? I have to believe that Priest does not know what's going on. His reaction seems so genuine.
Yeah. But I don't think you could know that with R-Truth. Just, I think he has the freedom to go off script. And the crazy thing is I think he's pushing 60, right? If my memory serves right.
Yeah, he's 50.
He does not look that. And now he's not in the ring as much as he used to. And I know that, to me, the tag titles on them, etc. I was like, oh, that's a nice career thing, but
it's a fun thing for sure. He's 54.
But yeah, to me, like I said here, tag teams are a different story that we would have to talk about the lack of respect that they get at this point. But
I agree.
To me, like I said, Danhausen, the little glimpse he has. I'm not a big on the Pat McAfee storyline. I get it and I don't get it. I don't really care. But
Cody has to drop the title, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know how you can keep it on him. I mean, Randy's obviously Randy, and
well, you say that, but Jade's got a title and she doesn't do anything.
That is true. I mean, I'd rather see Randy with a title than Jade. I'd rather see Randy with a title than Roman.
We were having a discussion in another thread here that Roman doesn't look, I want to be careful, he doesn't look as healthy as he used to be.
Yeah.
Along those lines here, and hopefully it's not anything, hopefully it's not a health issue and it's just, him slimming down a little bit. But yeah, to me, Roman's kind of, I didn't hate Roman have the title. But yeah, to me, Cody's got to do something different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree that I do think they need to do something different with him. And honestly, I'm so tired of all the factions. Just lay off the factions for a bit. Let something happens. But Mike, to be fair, we talked wrestling quite a bit before, even when the team was not doing poorly. Yeah, we used to. But with it being WrestleMania weekend, obviously, it needs to be mentioned. Just because it's one of the biggest sporting events of the year. One of the biggest.
Well, it used to be.
Yeah,
they're having problems selling tickets.
Mm-hmm.
The same problem that the World Cup's having problems selling tickets is because they've outpriced the average fan.
Yes, and that is something that McAfee said the other night. About how it's outpriced. It has. Like, I've looked. I've thought about taking the boys, but not like seriously, because I look at the prices. I'm like, no. Even in Rio Rancho, like, there's no way.
Here's a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Circling back to soccer. When the World Cup was announced, I was like, dude, there is no way that I'm missing it.
Right.
And I knew it was going to cost some money.
Mm-hmm.
But the price that it's costing, and I saw what Boston is charging $80 or $90 to ride the bus.
Train.
$100 for a train. Well, no, bus was $80. Train was $100.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking away the tailgates, at the stadiums. They're charging for just, to me, I'm like, yes, I understand it's America, and it's a capitalist society, but there is no way that I would spend any money on FIFA World Cup tickets at this time. And if you had asked me when it was announced, I'd have been like, no, me and my son are going to go. Now I'm like, no, I'm not even going to go to a fan event just because just the cost to be able to get into those. I'd rather, go to a, SAFC or, New Mexico United fan event, if it was brought together along those lines.
And we looked at that. That's something we talked about on the show. Jacob and I talked. I think you were part of it too. We're like, we're gonna go. I honestly, you ask Melanie. I legitimately talked to Melanie about, hey, maybe I can take the guys. Maybe we can go for like wedding party type deal. But and we could get free room and board in Atlanta because I've got family in Atlanta. Like we could cut down on some of the costs, right? But there's no way. There is absolutely no way. I mean, I'm looking at SeatGeek right now, $466 for South Korea versus Czechia. Like, no way. This is, let me see if I can find a U.S. match here. U.S. Paraguay from $1,400. Ain't no way. There is no way that the average fan, and the men's national team has had this problem for years. They have completely priced out the common fan. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Brandon Kearns Music says it costs $175, probably plus fees to park for the World Cup at Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
Just think, that's not even getting a hot dog and a Coke or a hot dog and a beer.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I was fortunate to go to the World Cup in '94. And sold out crowds. We saw some, two random countries, Romania.
I mean,
yeah.
I'd rather have Pete save his money for a stadium than the World Cup. Probably that same price here.
Right.
Speaking of which, any discussion on the stadium?
Fairgrounds. It's looking more and more likely.
Which is not a bad thing, right? From an outsider, I don't think it's, and I know, and I think the last time I was on, or I've talked with you guys, from looking at a map as an outsider, it doesn't seem like a bad location. Mm-hmm. And maybe having a new stadium there can kind of help improve the surrounding dynamics that are part of that area. Maybe that'll help improve it.
Publicly, the club has said whatever is the best project. That's publicly what they're saying, right? Whatever is the best project. I have my own personal opinions about Fairgrounds because I lived right there for a number of years. It is not a good location. Okay, it's just not a good location. I firmly believe that we will see a definitive announcement on a Fairgrounds stadium. I do think it's going to move from Balloon Fiesta to Fairgrounds. It is state property, and I think you're going to get far less pushback from the surrounding areas, despite it being a more heavily populated area. My understanding is that with this project, a number of those businesses that are already in the area are either being brought into the area, into the new grounds area, or there are a number of those businesses that are already closed down. Now there are a handful that are open, but yeah.
Now the Mike's comment, 9,000 turf stadium versus 15,000 grass. The turf stadium would have been Balloon Fiesta, right? It would have been like a
most
pop-up
likely
container Phoenix style. This one would be more brick and mortar.
Yeah, this would be a definite facility. Turf will be more likely out at Balloon Fiesta simply because the infrastructure is not there for grass. The city's having to put in, no matter what, the city already have plans to upgrade the area, plumbing, light, electric, all sorts of stuff. So from that perspective, you're more than likely looking at turf out at Balloon Fiesta, which I know none of us want. But
I mean, at this point, I think we'll just take what we can get. Honestly, I'm not sad about it.
Yeah,
I like the idea of it being 15,000 seats, and I like it being grass.
Well, if you go 15, you can go D1.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you could,
and I would think it's going to move the timetable up too.
Yes.
Not if it's well, it depends. If it's a permanent stadium, no.
Well, the way things are looking, and my understanding is that there can be shovels in the ground far quicker than at Balloon Fiesta. So either way, we're still looking at, say, 2028, 2029 before there's a stadium.
Do you think
no matter
they
where
you think they could invest like in a temporary stadium at the fairgrounds and then kind of build up around it?
I don't think they would, but I think it's a possibility. I don't think they would, though.
Because you can have a pop-up stadium in 90 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think they're just going to go for a full-blown pad. Again, in talking to some folks, the area that's been proposed for the stadium is already much larger than the pad they were being given at Balloon Fiesta.
So, and I know this is a New Mexico United showcase show, but I also do high school soccer, here in Texas. Is that something that you could see that where maybe local high school teams or like state finals or even the Lady Lobos?
Oh yeah,
and
could play out
a women's team,
right?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously UNM already has a soccer complex there, but it doesn't. It's not suitable for anything other than collegiate soccer. That's really all it is. I mean, you could probably put high school soccer there as well, but because you saw the pitch during the Open Cup,
Mm-hmm.
like it's not kept through the winter. It's not. So, I think a stadium, whether it's Balloon Fiesta or there, is far more convenient than say out at the community stadium out on the west end, which is fucking awful to get to, by the way. The stadium that they use for like high school football championships. Down a stadium there at the fairgrounds is far easier to get to for a lot of people as far as like high school athletics and things like that.
Here's also something to think about. And it's not something that as soccer fans that we want, but maybe as a city that they have. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the UFL. They are hitting a lot of USL stadiums, like Louisville stadiums hosts one. I've seen a couple other where like that 10 to 15,000 stadiums that soccer specific stadiums because the fields are wider. They're also using that for as well. So that might be something to where, from a city aspect, maybe they can attract more more quote professional sports teams. And then I know Josh Gonzalez mentioned Albuquerque Alliance FC as our early women's team. I would have to think that once the stadium is there, I'm hoping New Mexico United would also be bringing in, a D1 women's team as well. I think Peter's the type of owner that would definitely do that if given the opportunity.
He's mentioned that more than once.
Yeah. Pete would love to have a women's club. He's talked about it since year one. There have already been conversations with different leagues, but nothing is definitive, as far as which league they would be playing in. Obviously we need to get the stadium first, but Pete wants a women's team.
If New Mexico got the stadium, they would be going into, well, assuming they don't go NWSL, which I don't know if they would for that here, but assuming that they don't go, NWSL, they would definitely be going to, was it the Super League?
Yeah. He said he preferred Super League over NWSL.
There would be no doubt in my mind that they wouldn't be going through there. And for the Super League, they're, it would be one of the star franchises, because you guys draw 10,000 still, I believe, on average.
Yep.
And the only good thing, bad thing about the Super League, depending on your view, is they play fall to winter, to spring. So you'd maybe have a little bit of overlap between the men's side and the women's side, but a lot of times, you'd be able to still go out to the stadium along those lines. So.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of things to look forward to with the stadium. I mean, there really are. And, Albuquerque Alliance is set to play in the WPSL. I'm looking at their website now. I don't see anything as far as tickets or anything. Oasis conference schedule confirmed.
The WPSL is a kind of amateur, no, not amateur, semi-pro, I guess you could kind of say, along those lines for that here. So,
yeah, so it looks like Albuquerque Alliance, their first match of the season will be on Saturday, June 6th, playing the New Mexico Soccer Academy out at Mesa del Sol.
And they usually, I think it goes about 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, the season starts on May 9th and ends July 22nd, it looks like. So, yeah, we'll see a couple different squads. It looks like Albuquerque Alliance will be playing out at Rio Rancho High School for their home matches. So, I mean, yeah, get a stadium, get a women's team.
That might be a show idea to, during, as you get closer to that time frame, bring them on, reach out to them.
Yep, absolutely. We will do that. I'll have to see if I can find a contact information for them. Invite Albuquerque. Oh, yeah, I'll reach out to them, see if I can't get them on. So that'll be exciting. We'll have them on. Hopefully get them on. But yeah. So, I mean, yeah, obviously we're not playing this weekend. Harry, you got our score prediction for El Paso?
0-0. No. I'm going to go 1-1.
All right. Christina, you want to try to predict El Paso versus San Antonio?
It's going to be 3-0 San Antonio. Something's gonna click, and it's going to be great. I can't wait.
I'm going to predict El Paso gets 2 red cards, and San Antonio is actually going to call Harry up this weekend. Harry's going to get a PK. But no,
I'll sub in my son, who will nail it, but because I can't remember the last time I took a PK. But here's the better question, and this is one that I struggle with: El Paso versus Houston Dynamo. I tend to always root for the USL team.
No, I'm rooting for
MLS this time. I struggle rooting for El Paso.
No, where's David? Where's David? Is David in
We've
the
got
chat?
Lou City and Colorado Springs we can root for to support the USL.
Yeah,
Down with El
speaking
Paso.
of which, Lou City defeated Austin FC today 2-1. New England Revolution advanced 2-1 over Rhode Island on penalties. Chicago Fire advances despite a red card with a win over Detroit City FC. NYC defeated Westchester SC by a final of 5-2. Colorado Springs Switchbacks defeated SKC. What the fuck happened there? 3-0. SKC did get a red card. Rapids currently leading Union Omaha 1-0 in the 3rd minute of stoppage time.
Yeah, and it's been a chippy game. I've had that game on.
Yeah, and then Sac Republic and Minnesota United are 0-0 on the 68th. I didn't see if Sac Republic had any red cards stemming from the El Farolito match a couple weeks ago.
That is true.
Yeah. I know I didn't hear of anything coming down, but I would expect there to be issues especially for El Farolito going into the next round of qualifying. But yeah, for our good friend David Weesey Carl, I'm gonna go Dynamo over El Paso. So
as long as it goes 120
No-brainer.
minutes, I don't care.
Right, run them into the ground.
Yeah, tire them out.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll take San Antonio over El Paso.
Oh, the USA women are losing to Japan. Looking at the score.
Yeah, Dynamo not having a great year. 2 wins, 4 losses, and 6 matches played. So, yeah.
So tomorrow on Open Cup, you got FC Naples hosting Orlando. Charlotte FC hosting Charlotte Independence. Battle of Charlotte. Your Atlanta United versus Chattanooga FC, which is one of those underrated matches because Chattanooga FC does draw very well.
They do.
DC United and one Knoxville, Red Bulls and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That'll be a good one. Kickers hosting Columbus, a nice old school matchup. We've discussed Houston and El Paso. St. Louis City hosting Tulsa. That I think will be an interesting match. And then Phoenix Rising traveling to San Jose for that here. So that will be that'll be interesting.
That one will be. I that's one I want to keep an eye on tomorrow as well. I'm not sure, but I think Rising could pull that one out. I wouldn't put money on it though.
Yeah, no. But no, it's like, and this gets us down to the round of 16, so it'll be interesting. But Chattanooga, Atlanta needs to be very careful going into Chattanooga.
That they do. Atlanta is still struggling this year.
The only advantage is they typically play every year a preseason game in Chattanooga, so it will not be something brand new. Brand new to them. So that is one huge advantage that they have.
Yep, that is true. So, but yeah, lots of things to watch tomorrow and this weekend. Obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on a number of different things. But yeah, Harry, thank you so much for popping on tonight. Appreciate you joining us. Do you have any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
No, just support our teams. Like I said here, I'll say this: it's okay to be critical of the team, but don't be personal. Don't go after players or as individual or anything along those lines. Or the coach as well here. Go after. It's okay to call out the team, and to me, I guess it's okay to call out the coach in a professional sense, but don't go
negative Nelly.
Personal, along those lines here. Like I said here, it's one thing to have constructive criticism. We all do. We all think we know the answers. However, we are not in the locker room. We don't know. So that's why just keep that in mind when you are on social media or just talking to people around, because the whole HR, you never know who's listening type situation. Yep. So just make sure you represent your city, your town, your fans with respect. And I know there was some issues in Phoenix allegedly. I wasn't there. I don't know. But supposedly that, just to kind of make sure you're representing your club in the best way that you can, both online as well in person.
Yeah. Can't agree with that anymore. Christina, any closing thoughts from you?
I think I agree with Harry. I think, like I said, it's got to be hard on the team to have not really played at the lab a whole lot yet. We got to be there, in the good days and the harder days, and we got to be the 12th man for them.
Yep. I agree with that as well. Yeah. So thank you guys all for being here. I know Jacob likes to go through the chat, and I'm just, thank you guys. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you, one and all.
Yeah, thank you, one and all.
And speedy recovery to Jacob's family there on the pop-up illness here. So hopefully speedy recovery to the little one. I know when Jacob misses and I get the call, it's usually pretty serious because Jacob does love doing the show, and it's a great outlet for him and his family.
Yep,
Yeah.
that it is. So, but yeah, thank you guys all so much for being here. Jacob, if you're listening, we do wish Allie health and hope that she gets to feeling better. And hopefully, you survive the evening managing the household all by yourself. So
hopefully he's sleeping right now.
he might be. I don't know. We're just now getting into stoppage time. So he's
well, hopefully he didn't burn down the kitchen because he said he was cooking. So
he did. Yeah. Hopefully he didn't burn down the kitchen. But yeah, to everyone over in the chat, thank you guys all so much for being here. We do appreciate you guys tuning in to us live every Tuesday night over on YouTube or Facebook. If you're not with us here tonight, podcast will hit your feeds later this week. Please be sure to give that a listen, rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and share us with someone. Make sure you're sharing us with someone. That's how we continue to grow and continue to be able to bring you guys the coverage that we do throughout the season. So thank you all. We'll be back again next week previewing the AV Alta match, and we'll talk about the Open Cup results and maybe even a little WrestleMania chat as well. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. We love you. Somos Unidos.